afternoon, everyone, and we're so happy once again to be with you. We got a lot of messages from people saying that we missed. We're so happy to see the weekend. And before we get started, we want to part of the world are you from? Which part of the city?
Okay. If you can't hear us, okay.
Yes. So I'm sure the audio is going to get sorted in just a bit. So while we get that done, uh, meanwhile, you can tell us where are you from. So we have somebody from Bangalore, UK, Hyderabad, Surat, Kolkata, a lot of different parts of the country. We hope that you are keeping absolutely safe. And thank you so much for coming on this webinar, because we know that you're going to get a whole lot of value at the end of this particular session. So thank you once again. Let's quickly get started. So keep writing to us whether you can hear us, whether the audio is okay. Today we are going to spend about Heal Your Life, which is one of the most powerful systems, the most powerful ways of thinking that Shashank and I actually worked a lot with it in our lives.
I have just tried a different audio. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, so if you can hear us, do let us know.
Okay,
yes.
great. Thank you. So we've just fixed the audio. We've used a different version and we are going to be a lot more louder. So thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, so please keep telling us how the audio goes. And thank you for being so active, and we can see all of these messages which are coming in. So getting back to what we are going to be doing today, we'll be working with Heal Your Life, and we are going to tell you what this is in a while. It's actually a 1 hour, very, very powerful journey, a journey towards your own connection with yourself. It's the way of thinking, it's the way of life, and it's also its journey to self-love. So we are going to be doing this together today, and it's very, very powerful. You may have read the book, You Can Heal Your Life. We are going to talk about it a lot more. Before we get started, we have a couple of questions that we want to ask you. And you need to be you need to pay attention to these questions and write in the chat box if it is true for you. Yeah, so let's start off with this. So the first thing is that do you tend to criticize yourself? Yeah, so if this is true for you, you're going to say that yes, you end up doing that once in a while, or maybe more than once in a while.
I love the fact that my screen is completely full of hands which are raised, and of course the yeses on the chat box. Point number 2, do you tend to not take good care of your body?
So often you know what you're supposed to be eating, how you're supposed to be exercising, what you need to refrain from, but yet you're not able to take as good care as you would want to. Do you at times accept unfulfilling relationships as a part of life? So this could be people who are close to you in the form of family, in the form of friends, in the form of colleagues, and in different ways. So you accept it and you just go along with it.
Do you tend to give up your dreams?
So in the name of responsibility, in the names of things that need to be done, do you give up something that you hold very, very close to your heart? Another one. At times when you do live for yourself, do you end up feeling guilty? Yeah? Do you feel you're not doing enough for the roles and responsibilities which are around you?
We have a lot of questions here. Do you become afraid of leaving your comfort zone?
So there are times when you know that you want to take a leap, and when you know what it would be like if you take that one courageous step, and yet there is something that holds you back and you stay in your comfort zone. So if that happens to you, we are seeing that sometimes, yes, maybe it's often. Next one.
Do you procrastinate things that might benefit you?
So you know that probably reading that book or attending that webinar or going to, taking care of yourself is something that's going to be good for you, yet you push it into the future.
are there times when you're thinking negative thoughts, or do you constantly think negative thoughts?
So this is about, getting into an overthinking mode where it starts off with one negative thought and you find yourself spending minutes and sometimes even hours really caught in that negative thought loop.
Do you feel afraid to charge a decent price for your services?
Yeah, and this is something that a lot of people end up. So you may be doing any kind of work, you may be self-employed, you may be working somewhere, and yet asking for that raise, asking for the money, you tend to hold yourself back a little bit. So does that happen to you?
Do you play small because you feel afraid to be judged?
So each one of you has so much to offer and so much potential and so much light that you can shine. And yet sometimes you tend to hold yourself back and play small simply because you don't want anybody to judge you or you don't want to make a mistake.
Do you feel a lack in your life despite trying your best?
So while you're doing everything that you can on daily basis, which ends up which is towards working a good life, and yet there are times when you feel a lack. Look at all of these statements which are on your screen right now. And if you see, chances are that there are at least a couple of them that you end up relating to. And this is where the essence of the work of today is going to be all about. Because a lot of times we end up coming in the way of our own success. I'm going to repeat that. We ourselves end up coming in the way of our own success. And how that happens, we are going to be talking about it today. And it's really, really a beautiful journey of seeing how that happens.
Today, the intention of the 1 hour that we are going to spend together, it's all about getting unstuck from the limiting past experiences.
If you actually had to visualize yourself, each one of us is carrying huge amount of baggage. And we tend to carry it all over the place. And then we wonder, why do we get exhausted? Why do we get drained? Why are we not open to experiences? Why are we guarded and defensive as people? Simply because, and even research says this, that we end up living a lot of our life from the past rather than really in the present or in anticipation of a good future. So we are going to be talking about that today.
We are also going to be getting introduced to the thought cycle. This is extremely powerful, and we are going to look at understanding where and what happens with our thought processes.
The next one, we are also going to uncover some negative beliefs that don't support you. And how that's important, we are again going to look at this, because this is really at the core of everything.
We are also going to work on rediscovering powerful ways of thinking. So we've looked at the negative ones. Now it's also time to look at powerful ways of thinking.
And the most important thing, we are going to look at learning ways to love yourself even more. Why does this even matter is what we are going to be talking about today. And trust me, there is beautiful science to this whole thing. And we are going to very quickly tell you who we are. But before that, as you stay with us through this 1 hour, at the end of the session, we are going to share with you a very beautiful and a special offering. Because we believe that Heal Your Life as a philosophy, as a book, as information is something that we need to work on at a very, very deep level. So we are going to talk about an access to an online version of a deeper level of the Heal Your Life journey. So we want you to stay connected with us on that. More details at the end of the webinar. Quickly, before anything else, we want you to take time out and really, really free yourself from all distractions. Whether it's technology, whether it's people, whether it's demands from your external environment, and also distractions within, which is your own tiredness, your own thoughts, multiple things that you're doing at a time, just taking a moment to pause and saying, this is time out for myself. So please make sure that you are free of distractions so that you're able to be present at this moment completely. Yeah, so beginning with who we are. Some of you have met us before or have been with us on webinars. Some of you have come in for the first time. And who are we? That's what we are going to be talking about first. So my name is Sneha. I have a double majors in psychology. I'm a consulting psychologist. I'm also a leadership coach. So I do a whole lot of leadership coaching with people, leaders all over the world. Also, we do a lot of transformational workshops, again, with multiple people across the world. I'm also an emotional intelligence practitioner. And it's a lot of work in the field of human behavior and psychology that I end up doing. Shashank, on the other hand, has a very different background because he's an engineer and a very good one at that. He's also done his master's in business administration, and he's one of those few people who's had the courage to let go of being an IT consultant and being in a regular job to follow what his dream has been.
So I have, of course, moved on from being an IT consultant and now work as a transformational coach, a human behavior expert, as well as a leadership facilitator. Sneha and I, both of us, have conducted workshops in several countries across the world. 10 of them are on the screen here. We've actually gone to these countries, worked with the nationals of these countries, and offered workshops out there. We also are people who've been trained as Heal Your Life workshop leaders and coaches.
So in about a couple of, I think about 10 years ago, is when we got trained to be Heal Your Life teachers. We also do one-on-one sessions. We also do this work in a very big way with organizations.
Absolutely.
And we believe that's a very important place where this is needed. Eventually, with all the work that we did,
we also got certified to conduct the teacher training in India, which means that we are actually responsible to offer teacher trainings, and we can certify people to become trainers in India. We can also certify to become people who can become coaches in India.
So Shashank and I are one of the two facilitators who offer the teacher training in the country. We are the only facilitators who offer the coach training in the country today. And we also offer the Heal Your Life corporate training, and we are the global trainers for that. And we've trained about 150 facilitators across the globe to take the Heal Your Life work to various organizations. We are also the director of the Heal Your Life operations in India as of now. So it's something that we love doing, we are extremely passionate about, and we know that whatever it is that you do that you're passionate about ends up growing in its depth as well as its reach. So we are really excited to do this today.
Today, all our work, all the hour is going to be all about talking about the lady who's on your screen standing with Sneha and I. Her name is Louise Hay, and we are going to be completely dedicating this hour to her.
Absolutely. So we are going to be talking about this, but let me give you a background first. Each one of us who are here on this webinar, we have over 800 people and more people joining in right now live. Each one of us has an idea of what we would like our life to be. So we have an idea of how we would want our ideal relationships to be, how we would want our careers to be, how we would want our health to be, how we would want our future to be. So a lot of different things we have an idea of what we would like that life to be like. But do you know that research says that only 8% of people across the world actually end up living the life that they really want for themselves, which means that 92% of people know what they want. They are also working towards what they want, and yet they seem to somehow not be able to really live the life that they truly desire and want to create for themselves. Yeah, if you can't hear the audio, we would want you to write in, because we are doing our best to make sure that you can hear us. Yeah, so if you can hear and if you think it's clear, please write to us. We want to make sure that you get all the information that you need.
Thank you so much.
So now the question is, why do 90% of people not end up living the life that they truly want for themselves? And let's give you a little bit of an idea about this, and this will define it. Yeah, so what is it that holds us back? Yeah, what is it that holds us back? And there are two things that tend to hold us back from the life that we truly want to create. And you will be able to relate to this. The first thing is external circumstances. So we have an idea of how we would like our life to be, and yet the circumstances, either the past or the present, do not seem to support that vision. So we say we don't have the resources, we don't have supportive people, it's not the culture, the family, the environment that we belong to. That's all a part of external circumstances, which means that something that is outside of us that impacts the way our life is. And the second thing that holds us back are our own internal limitations. So the way we think, the way we feel, the kind of thoughts and feelings that we have on daily basis. So somebody said that there is a sense of fear that's an internal limitation. Whether there is a COVID pandemic, which is what somebody else has written, which is an external circumstance. So both of these end up holding us back. If we were to ask you a question, which out of these play a bigger role? You know, each one of you may have a different answer depending on your experience. So I want you to write down which one plays a bigger role.
It's surprising. I just love the way most of you have written internal interferences or internal limitations.
Absolutely. And you know, the one that makes all the difference is the internal limitations, because the internal limitations or the way we think actually end up creating our perception of the world that we live in. So if we are constantly thinking fear, it creates a perception of every event which is outside of us. If we end up thinking hope, it creates a perception of everything that is outside of us. Now, for some of us, we might think it's external. It doesn't mean that you're wrong. We are going to tell you how the shift of focus can actually make a huge, huge difference in your life. And this is where enters Louise and the work that she did. Yeah, so for all of the people who know Louise Hay and the Heal Your Life book that she has written, we want you to write that down, yes, in the chat box, so we know that you have read this before. It's an extremely powerful book. Let's take you through the life of Louise and how it's connected to the slide that says, what holds us back? Louise was born actually in a very, very humble family. So she was not born in the most perfect environment. She had a stepfather, extremely abusive environment that she grew up in, struggled every single day to survive. At the age of 15, she decided to run away from home because the abuse was too much to deal with. And this was mental abuse, this was physical abuse, as well as sexual abuse. So all of this was happening. At the age of 15, she ran away from home. And Louise says that she was so much in need of love and so much in need of approval that she never got in her life, that she went out seeking for love. At the age of 16, she ended up being pregnant. She couldn't keep the child. She gave the child away. And at the age of 17, she had gone through so much, and yet she didn't know what she wanted to do with her life. Then she left for New York, and she came to New York and decided to be a model. And as she became a model, she also met her husband, and she got married to him, somebody who was very well known in the industry, and she stayed married for 14 years. Did not really feel very happy in that relationship. And what happened is that at that point, her marriage dissolved. Her husband came in one day in the evening and said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. She was already 45. And at that point, her life, the way she knew it, did not exist anymore. So as she struggled to go on, which a lot of us are in different ways, a friend of hers called her one evening, and she said, I'm going tomorrow for a session which is by the science of mind, and I want you to come with me. Louise, being very open that she is, she said, yes, I'm going to come along with you. The next day, the interesting part is that the friend did not turn up, but Louise ended up going for this session. And in that session, the one line that she heard was that our thoughts create our reality. And the minute she heard that, she realized that she need not be a victim of her circumstances. So she said, if my thoughts create my reality, it means that if I change my thoughts, I can actually change my external reality. And that began such an incredible journey for this lady. She went on to do a lot of work in this area of our thoughts create our reality. And in the year 1976 is when she released her first book, which was called Heal Your Body Book, where she created a beautiful connection between thoughts and body. And she said, every thought we think, if it is negative, it creates illness in the body. This book became a raging success. It was called A Little Blue Book. Eventually, this book started to get published. And in the 80s is when her best-selling book, You Can Heal Your Life, was published. Remember, she was already over 50 years old by then. So we are looking at somebody who started her life at this point. Now, let's talk about what happened. So her book got published, first one 76, and then the next one in the 80s. It was read by millions of people in 33 different countries.
Oh, she was on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And when she was on the Oprah Winfrey Show, overnight she became a bestseller.
Her book got translated into 25 different languages, over 50 million copies, which were sold.
New York Times bestseller made sure that she was there on the list because she was an overnight success for 13 consecutive weeks.
And she also founded a multi-million-dollar publishing company called Hay House Incorporation. And today, so many well-known authors, including Wayne Dyer and a lot of other people, have been a part of this publishing house. So many charities and so much of work all over the world. And this is what happens. The only thing that she spoke about is that before the age of 50 and after the age of 50, what changed for her was her internal limitation. The day that switch happened, her external circumstances automatically changed.
The line that she heard and the line that she constantly keeps talking about is that our thoughts create our reality.
And we are going to begin with this most important thing. And you know what? There is a lot of research which has been done around the whole area of thoughts. Yeah, and there is amazing work which says how every single thought that we think applies or impacts us at a body level and at our experience of outer reality. So let's tell you, on an average, each one of us thinks about 80,000 thoughts a day. Have you even realized that you think so much?
Even at this moment, there are probably multiple thoughts going on in your head right now.
You know, what's amazing is that if you stop and if you make an assessment, you will realize that a lot of these thoughts are negative. And a lot of these thoughts are not only negative, they are habitual negative thoughts, which means that we seem to be thinking the same negative thoughts day in and day out. And then we wonder, why is it that our life is not any different? Why is our life not turning out the way we want it to turn out? Because the same old thinking results in the same old outcome, isn't
Absolutely.
it? Yeah, so that's how it ends up working. So if I need anything in my life to change, what needs to change first is the way I am thinking about life itself. We are going to tell you what this means.
First, let's try and define what's the word thoughts. Yeah, what does the word thought really mean? So thoughts are nothing but a stream of inner dialogue. It's the chatter which is constantly going on in our head.
I want you to take a moment and notice that even as you're listening to us, there would almost be an inner dialogue which is continuously running at the back of your head. It's like a chatter that goes on and on and on and on. And today I want you to, so if you can notice it, I want you to write an yes there or raise your thumbs up. Yeah, and at this moment, wonderful. So you are all able to notice this mental chatter that's going on. The question that you need to ask yourself right now is, what is the quality of that mental dialogue? What is the quality of that inner chatter? Some of you might say that, so what? It's just one thought, right? It's just one negative thought that I got. It's just one angry thought that I got. So what? What's the big deal about it? But we want you to now understand that your thoughts actually are quite interesting. Every single thought matters, because I want you to actually create this image, because one thought is like a drop of water. So if that thought is negative, it's one drop of water. Now what happens is that when there are a couple of more thoughts, it ends up becoming a puddle. A puddle soon becomes a pond, and a pond soon ends up becoming a small little river. It doesn't take for the river to become a full-fledged raging sea where you are submerged in the negative thoughts even without realizing it. And that's the time when this negative pattern of thinking has become a part of your being, and it's no longer in your conscious control. So the question is that one thought matters. Yes, every single thought matters, because it's contributing to the pool of thoughts that you have. Let's take a moment, and I really want you to take a moment right now. And I want you, wherever it is that you may be seated, I want you to be able to just close your eyes for a minute. Yeah, wherever it is that you might be seated, just close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, I want you to take yourself back to this morning when you woke up. And as you woke up this morning and you opened your eyes, what was the first thought that you woke up with? What is it that you told yourself when you woke up in the morning? As you got up and you started getting ready for the rest of your day, what were the thoughts that were going on in your mind? Were you judging people around you? Were you saying, there is so much work that I have to do, so much old routines, I have no support, things that need to be completed? Or were you neutral? Or was there a sense of gratitude that I am open to a new day? I'm alive to experience a new day. Notice today, as you were interacting with various members of your family, or maybe at work, what were the thoughts that were going on in your mind? Were you judging them? Were you criticizing them even in your own mind? Were you saying, why is this person not like that? Why is this person not like that? When you got calls from work, what is it that you were feeling? What are the kind of thoughts that were going on in your head? Look at the last 1 week and notice, what are the thoughts that you slept with? Did you sleep with a sense of, thank God the day is over? Or did you sleep with a sense of good feeling that this day was a day well spent? So we are constantly thinking thoughts all through the day. Are you even noticing the kind of thoughts that you are having on daily basis?
We want you to take a moment and we want you to share in the chat box if there was any one place that you believe you could change your thought.
Yeah, so it could be probably in the morning, or when you are dealing with people in your life.
Or when you could, if some of you are already driving, when you're driving to work, or it could be a place of meeting family. Were there any places where you could change that one particular thought?
Now, while cooking, or maybe before sleep, or so many different moments in the day when you could actually change your thought. The question is, why is changing the thought extremely important? Because we want to introduce you to the thought cycle now. Remember, it's not just a thought. A thought actually triggers an entire cycle, and we are going to tell you how this cycle really works. So let's get started.
So we are going to be looking at a thought. Yeah, a thought which happens, which is the mental chatter inside the head. When my thought is going on, it actually doesn't stop there. It gives rise to what we call as feelings. So if my thought is, oh my God, there's so much to do, I can't just stop doing, there's a lot of work happening around, the feeling is going to be that of anxiety, that of stress, that of frustration, which eventually gives rise to a behavior.
Now remember, every single thought follows this pattern.
Absolutely.
So there is a thought, and that thought gives rise to a feeling, and that feeling becomes the energy through which we end up behaving. And that behavior then impacts the external world or creates an outer reality, and it adds to our thoughts. So it keeps going round and round in a loop.
Now look at this. Yeah. So a thought, for example, could be, what an awful crisis. Yeah. Why am I stuck in this crisis? If that's the thought, what do you think is the feeling?
Yeah. So we want you to write. So every day in the morning, several times in the day, you keep thinking about this. That
irritation, frustration, terrible. Yeah.
What kind of crisis
Absolutely.
that I'm in? So there is a sense of anger, there is a sense of frustration, sadness, feeling of being stuck. And those are the feelings that you experience all day. Now notice, what will be your behavior like when you are in this feeling? Also the feeling of totally being helpless. So chances are that at every opportunity, you end up talking in a negative way to people. This is what happened. So many people are infected. This is what's going on. Or you end up watching a lot of negative news. You end up constantly feeling demotivated. So
sometimes even feeling obsessed with the negativity around.
Yeah, so it could be obsessed in the way you're doing things, in the way you're thinking things. So everything gets driven out of that anxiety and that anger. Now look at how beautiful this is, that if at the core, my thought changes, and there are a couple of people who are thinking about this entire situation, that it's time for rebooting. It's like the nature, the environment, people, earth itself is actually rebooting, and there is a new awakening and a new way of being. Now, if a person thinks that it's a time for reboot, what's the kind of emotions that this will bring about? This thought will bring about totally different set of emotions.
I love it. Yeah, there's hope, there is excitement, absolutely. There is patience, absolutely.
Lovely word. So patience is a beautiful word. So what we end up feeling is a lot of hopefulness. We are also aware of our environment. There is a sense of sensitivity towards the planet, towards people around us. Also, there is a sense of curiosity. What's going on? What's happening? And from this emotion comes totally different set of behaviors. So chances are that when you are in these emotions, you focus on creation, you focus on contribution. How can I help? How can I give? How can I make a difference? You practice a lot of patience with your family members,
Absolutely.
with yourself, with the government, with the environment.
And you're supporting not only yourself, but you're able to extend the support to people around you.
The beauty is that you also express a whole lot of gratitude to people around you for the fact that you're getting to spend this day. So if you notice how two different thoughts can actually create a completely different reality for each one of us. So we want you to see this, literally visualize this. So every single thought that you think is almost like a seed that you're planting. Where is it that you're planting the seed? You're planting the seed into the soil, and the soil, which is your mind. And this is a seed, and you say that, oh, but it's just a seed, and so what? The fact of the matter is that every time you plant the seed, now it's become very, very dynamic. So it's taken root, and you water it. What do you mean by watering? It's when you keep thinking about that thought over and over again. And slowly and steadily, that seed starts to grow and it becomes a sapling. Now imagine if the seed that you have sown is all about negativity, it's doubt and it's fear and it's anger and it's unmet expectations and it's resentment. Now the sapling is grown, and which is exactly representing what is it that you have planted. And over a period of time, this sapling starts to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And before you know it, it becomes your outer reality, which is a full-fledged tree. And this is what the world experiences about you. So either you have fed it something which is going to get it to nourish and contribute and flourish in the world, and that's what you get back in return, or you have a tree that is burnt and dead and possibly cannot really give out anything positive or creative in the environment.
You know, I love what Louise says. Louise always says, she says that when you are planting tomato seeds, you will get tomato plants. You can't expect anything else. Similarly, when we are planting negative thoughts, what is going to be our outer reality?
You know, a lot of times we don't think about it, that every single thought we think, we are saying yes to it. And when we say yes to it, it takes root and it grows. So our inner thoughts are nothing but the ones that result in our outer reality.
Absolutely.
This is a fundamental law of the universe, and there is no escaping it. So if I don't like my outer reality, most of the times we focus on wanting to change the outer reality. Why are you not like that? Why are my parents not like that? Why is my boss so difficult? Why is my family unsupportive? Why am I in a work environment that's not good? But actually, it's not the outer reality, but it's my inner perception of the outer reality, which is making all the difference.
So imagine if I chose to think I am not good enough.
Yes.
What would my outer reality be?
Now, as you go through these statements that Shashank gives you, I want you to actually tell us which one of these are the seeds that you have sown in your mind. How much of this do you tend to believe for yourself in your life?
So if you have sown those seeds in your mind right now or in the past, you're going to write yes. Yeah. So I am not good enough.
Yeah, how many of us believe that? And we tend to hold ourselves back and we question and we doubt ourselves.
The next one, it's not safe for me to assert myself or assert my needs.
So I can't ask for what I want, because if I ask, things will not happen. I might get rejected. People might not appreciate it. It might lead to conflict. How many of us have sown this seed in our mind?
I have to earn love. I have to earn love. Yeah.
I have to be the good daughter. I have to be the good wife.
I have to do the right things. I have to make sure I care for people, and only then I will be loved. Life is hard.
That's a big one. How many of us believe that life is hard? Everything, you have to make a lot of effort in order to have your life go reasonably well. How many of us have heard that from people around us?
Absolutely. People cannot be trusted. Yeah, we've seen this happen a lot of times. People cannot be trusted. How many of you are choosing to think this?
How many of you have had some negative experiences and decided that everybody in the world cannot be trusted? And from that place, what's the kind of outer reality that you create?
Relationships are difficult. I am not smart enough. Yeah, have you thought that? I am not smart enough. I am not lucky. I have heard that several times. Yeah. Money does not come easy. Oh, prosperity, that's not for me. Yeah, money does not come easy. I have to really work hard.
And even if I work hard, you know what? Somebody else only gets it very easy. I don't end up getting it easy at all.
I have to really achieve all the time, and only then I can feel worthy of myself.
Imagine how exhausting, which means I can't stop. I constantly need to achieve, because only then I feel I am worth something. I want you to take a moment and look at this list and imagine that if you were to feel all of this on daily basis, if this is the seed that we are sowing, if this is the soil that we are creating in our mind, what's the kind of outer reality that's going to be possible from this space? We will constantly operate from a lot of fear, lot of anxiety, lot of anger, possibly a lot of sadness, a lot of guardedness, a lot of mistrust. And that's where we are going to operate for our entire life. How is any good thing possible from this particular space? Now we want you to, the question here is that can thoughts be changed? And Louise was asked this question and she said, trust me, it can be changed.
She keeps saying this, it's only a thought and a thought can be changed.
Yeah, and the only thing that you need to do is be aware and know that this thought has to be changed. So she said that this is a process of consciously choosing to affirm different thoughts. So I consciously affirm for thoughts which nourish me and which support me. Today, we are going to ask you, imagine what would become possible in your life. I want you to actually imagine this right now. What would become possible in your life if you chose to affirm?
If I chose to affirm, I am always safe. If you chose to affirm that, what would be possible in your life? Everything I need comes to me in the perfect time, space, and sequence.
That means that all that I need will come to me at the right time, in the right sequence. All I need to do is keeping my action in place. Life supports me in all possible ways. Sometimes from ways that I did not even know. And support comes from all kinds of unexpected places.
All my experiences are perfect for my growth.
So there are no negative experiences. I end up really having all experiences that positively contribute to me. Life is easy. And life is as easy as I choose to believe it to be true. Wellness is the natural state of my body. This is something that I'm meant to be. I'm meant to experience.
So when I'm choosing to think all of this, what do you think now is going to be my outer reality?
The question is that the seeds that you sow end up becoming a sapling, and this sapling becomes a tree. You know, what is amazing is that every single external circumstance will give you a choice of how you're going to think about it at any point in time. And this is the thing that is in your control over and over again. And we can't tell you how much power this particular thing has, because the remote control of your life is in your hand and it's not in the hand of your external reality. Let's give you a little bit more, which is extremely powerful. Louise also said that what we believe about ourselves and about life becomes true for us. We believe good, it manifests in external reality. We believe bad, that's what we end up creating in our reality. Now let's look at what we do to ourselves as well. Negative thoughts are also often filled with judgments of self. I want you to write now in this particular box, how many times do you judge yourself in a day, saying that, oh, I should have done this better, I should have done that better. How many times do you judge yourself? We are going to quickly tell you why do you end up doing this. And there is a psychological reason why we judge ourselves. Each one of us has an idea of an ideal self inside of us, isn't it? An ideal self is nothing but an idea of what we should be. And where does this information come from? This comes from all the people who are outside of us. So people whom we've grown with, our parents, our society, our culture, our authority figure, the family, the workplace, everybody tells us how is it that we should be, how ideally we need to be.
And there is also a different part of me, which is the real me, which is actually who I am. And that's the part which is different from the ideal me.
Now, a lot of times there is a gap between the ideal me and the real me. So there is let's say you are of a particular weight. So your ideal me is a person who's of a particular weight and a particular structure, whereas the real me is who I am. And there is a gap between the two. Now, depending on how much the gap is, we end up having a lot of this in our life. And this statement starts with, I should. And I want each one of you to write down one thing that you believe you should. Let's give you an example.
So an example would be, I should be more organized. Yeah, this is very much true for me. I should be caring. Yeah, I like that. I should be focused. I should be fair. I should be happy. I should be a better mom. I should not make mistakes. I should earn money, more money.
I should be punctual. That's wonderful. I should love myself more. I should be positive. I should be confident. I should lose weight.
I should be more assertive.
You know, what's amazing is that each one of us has a whole lot of shoulds. And if we were to give you a chance, you would be able to see all the shoulds that you have in your life. we want you to take a moment to look at what does the word should really mean. And should, even in psychological classic definition, is nothing but a rigid sense of expectation that we have from ourselves. What it means is that if I am not what I should be, it creates a problem. Yeah, so we are going to, so I should follow my timetable, I should serve the country, I should take care of people. Now let's tell you what happens when you are not what you think you should be. So some of you have spoken about I should be punctual. Now what happens if you end up getting late? So every time you are not what you think you should be, there are two strong emotions that get activated within you. Tell me what those emotions could be. Yeah, so we are going to tell you what those are. Quickly write down. Absolutely, Neha, you're the first one to get it. Absolutely right. The one emotion is a lot of guilt, because I feel that I should be, but I'm not, and it ends up making me feel so guilty. And the second one, yes, it could also be anger towards myself, but a second emotion is that of anxiety, a sense of fear that if I am not that, what will happen? So there is a constant sense of anxiety and a constant sense of guilt.
Now remember the thought, feeling, and behavior cycle. So the thought is I should, the feeling is of guilt and anxiety, and the behavior is going to only be disabling us to create any positive action.
The reason being, have you heard of the term paralyzed by fear? Have you heard of the term, people also say paralyzed by guilt? Simply because these emotions are so strong that they never ever enable positive action.
Absolutely.
Louise Hay actually says that should is a very, very toxic word, because it tells you that right or wrong. If you are not this, you are wrong. If you are not this, you are not good enough. And from that space, nothing good can actually emerge. So does this mean that we should not have goals? No, I use the word should. So does this mean that we cannot have goals? So let's look at how we are going to do this. For a moment, let's look at replacing it with another statement.
So I'm going to say, if I really wanted to, I could. Yeah. Hear this clearly. If I really wanted to, I could. So I could be more organized. I could lose weight. I could make more money. I could be more disciplined.
Now, for each one of you who wrote something down, which is your should, I want you to rephrase it in your head and say, if I really wanted to, I could be punctual. If I really wanted to,
I love the responses.
I could exercise.
So I'm also already getting people saying that it sounds relaxing. It sounds more confident. It's more active.
Absolutely.
More charge of life.
More charge of life, simply because I've taken off the pressure. And now I'm saying, if I really wanted to, I could do this.
I love this word. Yeah, possibility. There is a whole sense of possibility and not pressure anymore.
And we are going to get you to ask yourself some questions. So when this comes up and you say that, you know what, if I really wanted to, I could be more organized. So the question is that you will first ask yourself is, do I really want to? Or is it that people around me want me to be like that? Is this something which is my need? Is it something which is for my growth and my well-being? So that's the first question that you need to ask yourself, because Louise discovered that a lot of shoulds are nothing but what the world wants from us, and not what we truly want from ourselves. There was a person I was working with who was trying to lose weight and was trying to do it for a long time. And we did this exercise where she rephrased it and she said, if I really wanted to, I could lose weight. And then we spoke about if she really wanted to. And her answer was that, Sneha, I don't really want to lose weight because I'm very happy with my body. I feel energetic. And right now, I want to be able to appreciate myself for who I am. But it's the demands of the world around, it's the judgments because of which I want to lose weight. It's not my internal need. Now, if your answer is that, no, it's my need, I want to do it, then you will ask yourself the question, what's stopping me from doing it?
So if I really could do it, then what stops me from doing it at this moment?
It's beautiful. So we want you to do this. How is it that you can give up, this whole aspect of shoulds and actually move to the goods of your life?
So we're going to ask you 3 questions, very, very important questions. How many of your thoughts in a day are judgmental and critical of yourself? Remember, we asked you this question earlier. Question number 2 that we focused on: how many times do you tend to should yourself? How many times do you tend to should yourself? And how often do you feel guilty and do you feel anxious?
Yeah, now notice this, because this is the quality of your inner chatter.
Now, if all the answers to these 3 questions is yes, most of the times, I've seen people writing 100% of the times, remember, inner thoughts is equal to outer reality. So if my answer is yes to all of this most of the times, what is going to be my outer reality?
How can I even expect that I will create the life that I want, that I truly deserve, when the environment inside is not supporting that at all in the first place? Yeah, so we are going to be really, really looking at being able to really improve the inner environment, the soil, the seeds that we are sowing on daily basis. We come to something else, which is the third part of what Louise talks about. This is the fundamental of her work, that while we are doing a lot of things outside, we need to nurture the most important relationship in our life. And that's the one that we have with ourselves. So every single day, what is your relationship, your attention, your feeling with the most important person, that is you. And that is the only thing that we need to work on. Because she said all relationships are a mirror of our relationship with ourselves. Listen to this very, very clearly. All relationships are a mirror of our relationship with ourselves. We'll tell you how. And this is very, very powerful.
I think this is the most powerful part of the entire webinar.
If you lack love and care inside of you, if you don't have the ability to love yourself and take care of yourself,
then self-approval and appreciation lies outside. So we seek it outside.
Absolutely. Now, when you end up when you lack the feeling of safety inside of you,
you tend to look for security outside of you.
When you lack a sense of self-worth inside of you, that I'm worthy, I'm good enough, I'm capable,
you tend to look for achievement outside of you. And if you don't get the achievement, there are a lot of discomforting feelings.
So it means that you constantly need to achieve, and you constantly need to get the awards and the accolades so that you are able to feel worthy inside of you. The next one is that if I lack the power inside of me, I end up seeking to control or use power on other people, because that's the way I fill the gap inside of myself.
When I lack peace inside of me, I'm going to create turmoil outside.
It always begins inside. So wherever there is a gap inside, I end up trying to fill it up with outside. So she says that if there is something outside of you that you are not okay with, take a moment, stop fighting with the external reality and turn the light inward and look at what is it that you need to do in order to create a much, much better and a powerful relationship with your own self. The fact of the matter is,
when you are good to yourself, you are actually being good to everyone around you, because when you feel good, you'll only react well to people.
So when your energy is good, you will only be able to put that energy outside, and that energy will create miracles wherever it is that you go.
I'm going to answer one question which I think is extremely powerful. What is the difference between being selfish and self-love?
Yes.
Remember that being selfish comes from a lack. It comes from feeling fear. It comes from feeling lesser. But when I'm creating self-love, I'm creating from a sense of wholeness.
And I love myself, and because I have so much love, I can give love to other people.
Absolutely.
So I'm not taking away from other people in order to fill myself.
Absolutely.
Because that's where selfishness comes from. It comes from arrogance, negativity, and a lot of vanity. Now let's look at this important reminder for
We've
you.
spoken about three very important things. Our thoughts are constantly creating our reality. Remember the sapling. What is it that we are sowing? What we believe about ourselves and about life becomes true for us.
Yes.
And the only relationship that we have to ever work with is ourselves.
Now look at this. If you were to practice this, life would truly change. So we have very quick 5 self-care practices that we want to give you. And we know that it's going to change everything. For the next 7 days, each one of you needs to start doing this very quickly.
So we are going to do this really quick. Stop all criticism. Refuse to criticize yourself, because when you criticize yourself, you are actually, your changes are going to be negative.
Tell yourself, I'm doing the best I can at every moment, and I'm learning and growing and changing every day. So number 1, stop all criticism.
Number 2, don't scare yourself with your thoughts. Stop terrorizing yourself with your thoughts. Catch yourself when you're overthinking. Plant a new seed, a new thought, and begin now.
First one, stop all criticism. Second, don't scare yourself. Third one,
support yourself.
Ask for help. Asking for help is being strong. Be open to receiving. Build a wonderful support system around you. Remember that nobody is judging you.
Number 4, don't ignore your body. Take care of your body. What kind of fuel does it need? What's the energy and vitality does it need?
Learn about nutrition and discover the kind of exercise that you really enjoy. First one, stop all criticism. Second, stop scaring yourself with your thoughts. Third, ask for support.
Fourth, take care of your body. Number 5, extremely important, practice mirror work.
Look at your own eyes in the mirror. We do that very often. Connect with the most important person, that is you. And at least once in a day, say to yourself, I love you. I really love you. And everything will change. You know, it's a beautiful connection that you have with yourself. Remember, this is just the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg, because the minute we are able to work on ourselves, everything in our life changes.
So quickly, 5 things that we've spoken about. First one, stop all criticism. Second one, don't scare yourself. Third one, support yourself. Fourth one, take care of your body. And the last one, practice mirror work.
Absolutely. You're going to do that immediately after the session gets done. The special offering is that Louise Hay wanted many people across the world to experience this work, because it changed her life completely. So there is an online version of the Heal Your Life journey, because usually this is a 2-day, very powerful in-person workshop, which has now been converted into a powerful online journey. Amazing exercises. So what is it that you get? So you actually get a package when you sign up for a Heal Your Life online journey. It's the most beautiful thing.
Your package includes 3 things. Number 1, it includes access to the 5-week online journey. It's a self-paced course which includes discoverability. It includes love and relationships, prosperity. We are looking at loving your body and honoring boundaries.
You get a total of 23 subtopics with videos, reflections, meditations, and affirmations. It's amazing because it touches every single area of your life and works at what's stopping you and where do you need to go from here.
This is a standardized content which is used across the world and it's practiced by thousands of people.
You know, the second part of the package includes a powerful self-care practices for each day, which means that every single day for 1 week, you get an email which tells you what's the self-care practice that you need to have for that particular day. So it's like a reminder, a recipe for your transformations into your inbox immediately.
And number 3, Sneha has recorded some wonderful meditations, and you get lifetime access to these 5 meditations when you purchase this package.
And it has a wonderful healing body meditation, one on abundance, prosperity, and also affirming your highest good. So you get all of these 3 things when you sign up for the Heal Your Life online workshop package. What is it that you get if you purchase it today by midnight, which is up to 12 o'clock in the night? And this is open only for the first 50 participants because we want to make it available to you. So it's ideally 6,800, which is 90 US dollars. And if you sign up till 12 in the night, you pay 5,000 rupees, which is a 25% off, and you get that entire package and a beautiful in-depth online journey, which people all over the world are using.
So you can purchase it at isra.co.in/HYL, and that's where you can purchase this package. Remember, there are 3 things: a 5-week journey. You get an email every day in your inbox for the next 7 days, which is with a practice. And thirdly, you get 5 meditations, which are recorded in Sneha's voice.
We just know that every single thing that you do to invest in yourself changes your outer reality completely. Because the minute we are working on ourselves, every single thing in our life starts to change.
There are 2 questions I'm going to answer. Question number 1 is, what's the access for the online course? The access remains with you for 6 months. And the second question, actually I've seen that happen a lot of times here. The question is, when is our next Heal Your Life Train the Trainer certification? Our next Heal Your Life Train the Trainer certification is in September, and the details will be on our website, isra.co.in.
So if you are somebody who wants to make a difference and do this work in the world, then the certification is the most wonderful thing for you. And meanwhile, remember, even to be a teacher, I first need to go through the journey myself. Remember, the online journey is completely different from the book. It is far, far more deeper and far more, it has wonderful exercises that takes you deeper. We hope that you've enjoyed today's session, and we hope that you're going back with a new way of thinking, a new insight, some level of shift. If you are, please put a thumbs up, because we love seeing that thumbs up or flooding all over our book. Thank you so much. We can see that.
We know we've exceeded by 3 minutes. And for all the people who decided to stay on, thank you so much. We will be sending you a recording of this session in your inbox in the next 2 hours. Remember, the recording is going to be available to you only for limited time.
Yeah, so do download it. Watch out for the email. We love you. We truly love you, and we are extremely grateful you're here, and we will be seeing you soon. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful, great evening.
Thank you.